Welcome into Sports Tonight. We have a lot to get to. We're going to talk about the Hawks. If you were paying attention in Chicago with the draft lottery, they somehow defied the odds to get the first overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft. We're also going to talk about the fact that the Braves are back at home against the Cubs. We'll hear from Snit and the gang out there. And then, of course, we're also going to talk about Atlanta United, who's struggling with a little bit of a winless streak right now. But let's start with the Atlanta Hawks. We have some big news. You knew it was going to be an interesting offseason for the mere fact that DeJounte Murray and Trae Young, well, those two have had trade rumors circulating them since last season. They fell short for the year, losing in the play-in tournament to the Chicago Bulls. And so they get a little lucky, and they get this. There was a 3% chance that they were going to be able to secure the draft lottery pick. Well, they got it, and Landry Fields met with media after to discuss the fact that they got it, and they want to make the most of this opportunity.
Choosing players and bringing them into the building has already begun. We've been doing it. Our scouts have been extremely hard at work. People have been on the road. I've been on the road. I mean, we're prepared for this moment, frankly. And, it's just, again, part of our process. So we'll get together as a group and continuously to beat this thing up every which way and make sure that we're doing right and what's best for the Atlanta Hawks.
We'll go to Donnell Suggs.
Landry, congratulations.
Thanks, Donnell.
I want to ask, how are you going to keep people like me and the rest of the media from writing stories about what you guys are going to do with this thing? How do we keep us keep our readership posted on what the team might do without necessarily giving away what you guys are going to do?
Great question. Don't think I have a direct answer for that. I think that we'll just keep leaning into our process and have you keep writing what you write, and it'll be fun for me to read to see how close you are or you're not.
Thank you, sir.
Emmanuel.
Hey, Landry, congratulations on the pick. But I think one of the other questions besides drafting the pick, there's always going to be questions on, do you keep the pick? What's your thoughts on that? Is this a surefire draft pick, or could there be movement with this pick?
Not even our focus right now. This is a point in time where the opportunity that's before us is an excellent opportunity, and it puts us in position, right? Positioning is key in this business, and that's the position we have right now, number one position. So we'll just keep doing what we do, gather as a group, and we'll figure this thing out in time.
Caleb.
Hey, Landry, through this, preparation process leading up to the lottery, how much do you guys, as just an organization, let yourself think about having the number one overall pick versus 10, where you were most likely, to select given the odds?
Yeah, I mean, you certainly prepare for all cases. Knowing what the odds were, the probabilities were definitely not in our favor. But really, it's about how you prepare, and the preparation is key, which is why, we don't look at things too early or try to project out too early. You want to make sure that you're covering a wide range of things, so that when you do get this opportunity, you're well positioned to make good, sound decisions. So that's what we've been doing.
Do you see this pick as franchise altering potentially?
I think anytime you bring in any player, it's franchise altering. It's all connected. It's a principle that we live by internally. It's never just one person or one staff member or one coach. Everyone has a role to play.
Allison.
Hey, Landry, congrats. I have two questions. First of all, walk us through what you were feeling just in that moment when they got past the 10th pick. What were you feeling when you're like, oh my gosh, we have a chance to get this? And when you finally did, just what was going through your head?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's wild. I knew what the odds were. I knew where, the probability, the largest probability for us was, between 10 and 12, I believe there. So once the 10th pick was shown, I knew we launched into the top 4. So like kind of everything kind of swirls through your head at that point in time, and you're like, okay, we actually have a crack at this thing, and lo and behold, here we are.
And then does it change at all, kind of like the process just in June when you're bringing in the players for those pre-draft, workouts? I mean, now that you have the top pick, do you kind of narrow that down a little bit more instead of having a later pick? How does that kind of change things?
Yeah, there will certainly be some altering for sure. Within every year's draft process, I mean, agents are looking at it and they're going to decide kind of the accessibility that you have and whatnot. But good thing for us is we have strong relationships out there. So wherever we need to go, we'll be able to go, and whoever we need to talk to, we'll be able to talk to. And I think for us, we've done a ton of work, and we'll continuously do work with more data that comes in. Data will accumulate from the combine and beyond. And, we'll sit together and figure out what comes next.
We'll go to Brad Rowland.
Hey, Landry, kind of building off the last question, but does it change anything? You are number 1 overall, so you actually can take anybody you want to, but is it simply as best player available, or how much do you consider what's already on your roster as far as fit's concerned and all of that?
I think fit is important, whether it's this pick or the guys that are currently on our roster. That's all part of our process in terms of interpreting kind of what's what and who's who. I think at this point in time, it's unclear. We'll have to do deeper dives into these prospects and decide what's going to be ultimately best for us.
We'll go back to Lauren.
Hey, Landry, I know that you guys have done a lot of your homework so far already, but I am curious, what more do you hope to learn from being in Chicago this week at the Combine?
Well, this is an opportunity where you can actually speak with guys. This is where the rules allow us to do. So as we go from here on, that's a crucial piece of our own process, just making sure that we connect with these guys, chat with them, sort of get inside their heads, figure out the values system that they live by, and see if it matches with ours.
Allison?
Yeah, I'm just curious, is this draft maybe a little bit more challenging now that you have the top pick? Maybe there's more pressure, or even so there's not like a clear number 1 guy. So there's, 2, 3, maybe 4 guys that could go number 1 overall.
I look at it frankly as an opportunity, and I know our group does as well. Like, these are the positions that you want to be in. I'm constantly preaching and stressing to our group, like, look, positioning is what you can control as best you can, and you let the results fall where they may. But like to say it's pressure or challenges, like this is an opportunity. This is great for our franchise. It's a terrific moment for us.
Brad?
Obviously, you entered this offseason with some decisions to make with your roster after coming off of last season already. Does this make it any easier? How much of an impact is having the number 1 pick compared to where you were projected to be on the other decisions you have to make, or how much does that all fit together?
It's certainly helpful. I mean, frankly, before today, it was unknown what pick we would have. And kind of to the earlier question, where you pick, it does alter a few things here and there. But really, it just allows us another tool to keep building. And that's the type of flexibility that you need to have, and certainly wish you had, as you continue to build out the group and the roster. So I think it adds to us. I think it's important for us.
So we will see what the Hawks end up doing with that first overall pick. Essentially, they could pick the best player in the draft. Now, there's a lot of speculation about this being one of the more recent weak drafts in history, or they could package that for a deal to another team to get a lot of pieces and use it as leverage. Either way, Atlanta News First will be in New York for the NBA draft on June 26th to see what they do, if they do indeed take that pick. All right, let's switch gears to the Braves. They are taking on the Cubs tonight. Dansby Swanson back in town. Marcell Ozuna has been lights out for the Braves, but there's more concern for Austin Riley and his ailment from last night's game. They're cautiously optimistic. They're going to see, he's going to go through some imaging, but he has not gone through that just yet, so he is out of tonight's lineup. He wasn't in the clubhouse this afternoon. He was still pretty sore, so they're awaiting some MRI results. But the imaging was not done just yet, so they'll have to keep going and see where those when those results are able to become available. But we heard from Snickert about Riley and much more before pregame earlier. Let's tune in from what they had to say after their series with the Mets.
Feel it. He's getting some imaging done, so probably know a little bit more about what we're dealing with after the game. No, I think they kind of, I don't know, George looked at him and said he still felt a little bit. I don't think they felt like that it was just going to disappear overnight. So they're just, like I say, having some imaging done and see what, hopefully it's all good stuff.
But the initial thought is that probably avoids the IL, right?
I don't know until we find out today.
Would Zach be the plan B if you had to? Or would you
Well, right now, right now he is.
If you needed extended, would Fletcher be an option? Or?
Well, yeah, everybody be an option. Luke Williams has played there, Zach, Fletch, yeah.
Zach, good defensive and can run, right?
Yeah. No, I had some really good at-bats last night. I mean, he was, scored 2 runs and stole base. So. Yeah, he's still just doing his thing. I mean, till they tell me he can go out on rehab, he's just in there doing everything, and I don't think he's really got after his swing yet. So.
What about the reliability that Austin's given you over the years? It's so rare that we ever talk.
I know. Yeah, usually. I mean, he's missed a game here or there. I know he had a calf one time, maybe a sore quad. Something like that, and hopefully this is just one of those instances also, because he's a very reliable guy. I think I've said this a number of times. I think Michael's got a great disposition and demeanor about himself, where he doesn't panic, and I think he gets the big picture that this is a long season, and I don't see him riding that emotional wave, and he stays very calm, I think, and confident in what he does, and I think it's great that he has a guy like Marcel that's been through those battles. Because I know Marcel is there for all of them. I mean, he's been through a lot and come out on a really good end of it, and understands that also. So I think Michael's got a really good, like I say, take on this thing and as a whole in this business, and how hard it is, and there's going to be peaks and valleys, and he doesn't panic, and he stays with himself and allows himself to get through all that. I remember him when he was a young player, and he was one of those guys that always hit the really good pitching, and he's just been an offensive force his entire time in the league, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, and now, I mean, even younger, when he was a Gold Glover in the outfield and could really throw, and saying he's adjusted to being a DH right now, and he could be one of the better DHs of his generation. And when it's all said and done. So no, I just think his ability to hit and trust himself and handle all that, everything that goes along with how hard this game is to play. He does a really good job of keeping things in perspective also, and staying positive and energetic and believing in himself. I didn't. What'd she say? Well, you know what? It's the first time we've seen him. Nobody's faced him, and they watch. I would say they watch a lot of video, and they'll, they have all the information on him and what he throws. And but I say this too. I think you can watch all that video you want to. You get in the batter's box and actually feel a guy. I don't think you know until you get in there in the game and get a couple of looks at him. So I mean, I know he's a very aggressive guy with his fastball and the split, but I think until our guys get in the box and actually see him and feel him, that you don't really know, because you can only tell so much on a video. and how his fastball plays and what kind of rise or run it has and all that kind of things. I think you just need to see a guy, feel them in the batter's box before you really get a good understanding of what they're doing.
Feel good. Feel good getting in there last night. Obviously, it was a tough loss, but got out. I feel like I haven't ran the bases in a long time, so doing that twice, moving around a little bit more than I have in the past, got my body primed and feel good. Feel back in a routine and ready to go.
Are you kind of on your own routine, or are you taking any advice from some of these other guys? Or
Yeah, I mean, it would be stupid to not get some advice from them. More so just kind of watching them for now, and I'll get my questions in the next few days for sure.
How would you describe your mentality, just the process of stepping in the way you did yesterday?
Just always staying ready. I said it yesterday. If I didn't prepare like I was going to get in every game, I would be, doing myself a disservice and my teammates too. So, it wouldn't be fair to myself or them if I didn't prepare like that. And obviously it sucked to have Austin go down like that. But again, it's kind of just next man up and ready to go.
When Austin does go down, are you expecting that, hey, like tomorrow could be the day?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of saw it yesterday. In the last swing, it didn't look right, and I didn't know that he didn't feel right in BP. But I mean, as soon as I saw him kind of look a little different, I started moving around a little bit, and I kind of figured they were going to give him a day or two, just to obviously the caliber player he is, and you don't want him to push something like that, especially with what Sean's going through right now too. So I, again, kind of just staying ready and almost feel like every day could be the day.
Have they given you kind of timeline of how long to be ready, how many days? Or
No, and it's probably better off like that too.
How would you describe your impressions?
Special. Special to be on this side, opposed to watching them kick the snot out of a few teams on the other side. It's no secret of why they've won so many games in the last however many years. It's a special group that obviously prepares and plays the way they do, and again, it's no secret why they're really good.
So you received kind of a warm welcome from the clubhouse from the guys when you got here?
Yeah, absolutely. And it felt like I was here within the last month a few times, and I've played them the last few years, and I've talked to Matt a few times on first base. He's gotten first or second whenever I've been over there. He's always talkative. Again, everybody, it's very warm welcome for sure.
There's been a lot of quick transition for you this season. When you think about your personality, that helps you adapt in these situations, how would you describe that?
Absolutely. I've been on the move my whole career, whether it's position or a different team. And again, that's just kind of the role that I've stepped into in this part of my career. And I've gotten, definitely a little bit more comfortable with it. Even in Detroit, pinch hitting basically every other game, it felt like. So, I mean, that gets you ready that's a different mentality in itself. So, again, I kind of just adapted a little thing from each kind of step of my career, and to where I'm at now, I think it helps.
We will have those highlights tonight at 11 on Atlanta News First between the Cubs. It's a 3-game set, so we'll have it throughout the rest of the week. Another team we have to discuss is Atlanta United. They've been dealing with some difficulties. Now, they've consistently had players out of the rotation in the starting 11 with injuries. They got Stian Gregerson back for the U.S. Open Cup game against Charlotte Independence. But then he suffered a concussion and was out this weekend when they played DC United, which they ultimately fell to. They're now riding a winless streak, 6-match winless streak to be exact, and it hasn't won a match since March, if you do not include that U.S. Open Cup game. The rest of May is not looking easy either. Gonzalo is very upfront and honest about where this team sits right now. Brooks Lennon even talked about the fact that no one from the locker room is shying away. They are stepping up and having accountability and discussions about it. So let's hear into what Gonzalo Pineda had to say about where his team sits now, and with a hard March with a lot of tough matchups coming in.
Talk to the team about in this stretch, like when you have a team meeting or whatever, to I assume try to keep them up, their emotions.
Yeah, well, number one, you have to tell them the truth, right? You have to tell them the reality of where we are, on why we are here, what is happening. I think they pretty much agree with that. Some of the conversations we have had are very good. They open up to, they talk, they are aware of the situation and they're aware of what is happening. It's just a matter of how we get out of this situation, right? It's always the how you get out of this situation. I think I have lived these things in football so many times as a footballer, as an assistant, now as a coach, and it's always the how. What is the best way? What I would say is there is no one only answer to that. There can be multiple factors, but certainly we're trying to hit all the right buttons to get out of this situation, trying to turn this around, and trying to just be again kind of Atlanta United, right? Who we are. I think we have good memories of a couple games ago, winning at the bench and all this, and I think it's a matter of one or two good results, and we can easily get back to that vibe, that feeling, that where we were feeling very good about how we were playing. So that's a path I think we have to do. I give them 2 or 3 goals for these couple days, and for Cincinnati, things to focus on, trying to narrow the focus for them to have 2 or 3 things very simple to do, very simple tasks, and from there we can build something. So I think it's been positive.
Is that the most important factor, just the simplifying and doing a couple of things really well?
I think it's the starting point. I think simplifying, refocus, hit the right things that we need, the main things that we need to get back to. Without the specifics, I just simplify for them, and I think they agree. They feel committed also. So I think that's a good combination, and hopefully we can show in the next game.
When we talk about simplify, does that mean that in previous instances it's been too complicated? There have been too many tasks to cover in each game?
Not just that. It's just at times we overcomplicate things or situations, right? So we're in a situation where just connecting your pass is the best solution, and we try to dribble, or we have already the path to shoot, and we have another touch, or we have the path to cross, and then we try to get back again, or just overcomplicate at times certain things, even defensively complicate things for us. Like it's so simple at times just to be solid and to be in a solid block. I think the first couple games, or the first few games, I think we were one of the best defenses in the league in terms of chances per shot and all these expected goals per shot and goals conceded. So get back to that simplicity of the game, of defending well, connect your passes, and make the ball to do the work for you. And it's not just really the tactics, it's more the situations we go through, and we overcomplicate at times. But it's part of a little bit of, we didn't get the result in certain games that probably we should have get the results, and then we try to do more because they want to win, they want to do well, they want to succeed. So they are feeling like, oh yeah, I have to do a little bit more, and then doing more is actually less. So I'm trying to simplify for them in that regard, but also the message and the focus. I think we have to, start to do some of those simple things.
Was bringing Dax in the second half an effort to simplify things because of the style in which he plays?
Yeah, that's one, but there was a bit tactical decision also because of how many numbers they had around Benteke, and the second balls were all for those guys. So trying to add another piece of midfielder there, I think tried to help. I think it paid off. The first play in the second half, we pressed really well through the middle. We created the transition moment and the goal. I think some of those were better. Also, Dax is one that is very vocal. He's a leader there, so he controls some things there, but it's not one person deal. It's not one person that's going to simplify things for us. It's all of us. We have to work together to simplify things and just to play as a team, a cohesive team that we know we can do. We just need to prove it in the next game.
Gonzalo, you mentioned simplifying. Does that mean changing anything? And I know you want this team to play a certain way every single time, but are you at a point where you feel like you need to make changes, whether it's personnel or the way that the team plays in the first 45 minutes or anything like that? Is change part of the new approach after this last loss?
Not really change. I wouldn't say the important things we will not change, like the style of the team and all that. Is maybe personnel-wise, I mean, we're down a few pieces in the back, a couple pieces in the attack, so we just need to find the best lineup for this game specifically, and then yes, certain situations maybe we are just better now just because of the moment the team is mentally and in the season. Maybe we simplify a few, yes, but not major things. It's not like now we're gonna just park the bus and play counters, nothing like that.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask just about that because it's 9 matches in 30 days and you are down a few players. If you might adopt a less proactive style of soccer, just to let the guys rest a little bit more within the games. A bus parking-ish type of approach.
Well, I don't believe in that style. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in parking the bus and try to counter. I think that gives you the less probabilities to win. That's my perception. Anyone can have an opinion on that, but I think the teams that I admire and the ones I grew up and the ones I played with are the teams that are proactive at attacking and proactive at giving the fans some good football, some good actions in attack. At the end, there are many ways to win games, but that's what I believe in football. Now, with that saying, against certain situations, in certain moments of the game, how we can be solid, how we can just simplify certain things in pressing and that, and just be solid, compact, hard to break. Yes, certain moments, yes, but it's not like we're gonna go to a difficult field like Cincinnati, and we're gonna park a 5-4-1. Hard to beat and just counter or using a target guy on top to get second balls, and from there let's see if we can win some of those and create chances. No, that won't be the main tactic. We are a possession team. We have players that can play very good in possession. We have proven that many times. So it's a matter of get back to who we are. We are Atlanta United. We have to play good football. We have to be good in possession. We have to create many chances. We have to try to be the proactive team that when you look at the games, we are the team that is showing that wants to win the most. And I think the last game we didn't show that. But the previous ones, I think we showed against Chicago, we were the team that we wanted to win the most. Against Minnesota, we showed that we were the team that wanted to win it the most. Cincinnati, Philadelphia, we showed that we wanted to win those games. It's just one game where we were a bit off from that. But then the style, I think, is going to remain. It's just little details that we have to improve.
Gonzalo, you were part of a Seattle organization that almost kind of became known for, despite no matter what happened in the first half of the season, the second half was kind of a different story, and some of the best teams at the end of the year were some of the ones who struggled the most. So I think it's oversimplistic to say what did you learn from the situation, but more like what did you observe from Brian Schmetzer during some of those seasons and the way that he was able to kind of manage the team through some of those moments?
Well, number one, people tend to think that Seattle always tried that strategy, or not being good in the first half and then second half we come stronger. It was never a tactic or a part of the plan at all. We always tried to start strong, and we always tried that in there. I remember Brian is so competitive. We are so competitive, and we always try to win every game. So number one thing is if we want one thing with Atlanta is to be consistent. And throughout the whole year, we're dominant. We are like that now. Certain things don't come off as you desired, as planned, certain injuries, situations, lack of cohesion in certain moments, okay, it happens. But what I learned on how to get back is, again, never stop believing in the players, never stop believing in the team. I think I have a huge belief in the players. I think they are committed to the cause, they are committed to the team, they want to do well, no question about it.
What just happened? OTAs for the Falcons is tomorrow as well, but that will do it for this Sports Tonight. Have a great night.